Slavery was necessary, and I think I have black
This
fatigue.
video is going to be called Slavery Was Necessary. Slavery was an absolute necessity. I mean, when you think about the fact that the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans actually are the biblical Israelites, you know, that ancient bloodline, and you see the way that they act out in society when they were actually intended to be the beacon of light. You know, the Most High God intended for them to be at the top of the hierarchy, at the top of the food chain, as far as you know, races are concerned. But you see that the way that they act, they're hypersexualized. You know, with the ratchet culture. You know, all the nasty, disgusting music, and just, you know, I mean, just you see the way that our people act. You know, it just goes to show you. I mean, like, if you watch, for instance, a lot of cop videos, and you see the way that, you know, the so-called blacks, Latinos, you know, Native Americans, just melanated people act, you know, when they have no respect for authority. You know, I mean, this is basically, you know, this is obviously the white man's kingdom, and, you know, the Most High God is using, you know, these nations to chastise us, to punish us because of all our iniquities, you know, our hard-headedness, and you know, just the fact that we never take heed to his words, you know, and so it just goes to show you, like, now that we're so-called, I mean, Scripture says, behold, I mean, we're yet this day in our captivity. So obviously, you know, we don't have our own kingdom. We're still in subjection. But you see how we act when we have just even a little bit of freedom, you know. So it just goes to show you that slavery was necessary in order to keep our people in line. You know, you just look at the murder rates, the rate of baby mamas and baby daddies, and just, I mean, it's absolutely insane. It's absolutely crazy, just the way that we act. You know, when we get a little bit of freedom. So, you know, slavery was absolutely necessary. You know, that was how the Most High God intended to chastise us and to get us back in line. You know, because we've been out of line for so long. You know, that's why he found it necessary to use all these kingdoms, like the Babylonians, the Assyrians, the Medo-Persians, and, you know, the Greeks, the Romans, all of them, you know, to hold us accountable, to chastise us, you know, because we're stiff-necked, hard-headed people. We don't listen. You know, we don't know how to act, and it's just a shame. It's just an absolute shame. You see how our people go into the gyms. When you go into the gyms, you see these females, you know, butt naked, you know, with whatever they got on, their little spandex, and just, you know, just tempting men to, you know, to sin, essentially. You know, just unruly behavior, acting like they all that. You know, even the dudes also were wearing tights and stuff. It's just it's crazy, man. It's intolerable the way our people act out here. You know, it's madness. You know, that's why slavery was absolutely necessary. You know, slavery was a total necessity to keep our people in check, to keep our people in line. You know, the oppression that we face in society, you know, it's just the Most High needed to use that to keep us, you know, to make us think, make us, you know, ponder on what life is supposed to be. You know, I mean, our people got to do better out here. Our people got to change. Our people, you know, got to turn back to the Most High God, turn back to the Scriptures, you know, turn back to the Lord's laws, statutes, and commandments, because that's the only thing that's going to get us out of the situation that we're in. You know, I mean, you can march all you want, you can, you know, protest and do this and do that, but that's just all of that is futile. You know, it's just a waste of time. It really is. It really is a waste of time. The Most High God is going to continue to punish and to chastise and to, you know, to break us until we finally get in line, until we finally start acting up, until we finally stop acting a fool out here, you know, in the midst of all these other nations, you know, until we take that leadership position that we were intended to have, you know, because that's the only thing that's gonna, you know, obviously the kingdom of heaven is coming soon, and we are going to dominate. We are going to rule the earth. You know, we are eventually gonna get in line, because I mean that's just prophecy. You know, but still, it's hard not to speak on it. You know, it's hard not to speak on it when you see these things, when you see how people acting a fool out here every single day. You know, everywhere you go, it doesn't matter, Walmart, you know, gas station, restaurants, graduation, sheesh. Our people are just, you know, our people are a mess. They don't know how to act, and it goes back to, you know, now they got a term for it, black fatigue. You know, people are actually I mean, black folks are tired of black folks. Everybody's tired of, I mean, like, we are literally a super power as far as culture is concerned. You know, the so-called black culture is a global superpower as far as culture is concerned. And this is what we put out there. You know, all the you know, propaganda and the BS music, you know, it's just our people got to do better. You know, our people absolutely got to do better, because I'm totally fatigued of, you know, I got black fatigue. How about that? I got black fatigue. I got white fatigue too. I got Asian fatigue, because all you nations are just nothing but a bunch of haters still too. You know, all you nations are nothing but a bunch of haters. You know, I got Arab fatigue. Okay. You know, but I'm just making this video to address my people specifically. You know, yeah. We got black fatigue out here. You know, y'all need to get in line. Peace.